Thank you to be with us this morning, and thank you to Dolby for sponsoring this event. It is the very first of its kind. As you may know, of the Cinemas Club, which will occur every year. The point is that we need to talk about exhibition, about theaters, which is usually not the case in the market. So this year we decided with market to innovate. And innovation is also in theaters. That's why we asked a few new companies or old companies with innovations to present this morning during 10 minutes for each of them, their innovations. Obviously, if you have any question, you can ask some questions to them. The only point is we need to free the room at 1 o'clock. So to start, obviously, we have a guest. So, Youry, thank you.
Of course.
It's your turn.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Et les cliqueurs aussi. Oui. Merci. Donc, hello everyone. On a aussi possible de parler en français, mais continue en anglais. So I am responsible for Dolby, but I used to work for Pathé in the Netherlands and Switzerland, and my mother was an exhibitor in Singapore, Sri Lanka, and in Jakarta, Indonesia, where I was raised until I was 17. So I cannot imagine a life without film or a life without cinema. I was actually born in her office because there was a James Bond premiere, and she was working, and I came in 3 weeks earlier. I wanted to see the film, I think. So I was literally born in her office, and I never left. So here I am, 55 years old, and still in the cinema industry, and I just love it. Don't know if anyone saw the film yesterday. Ah, amazing, so funny. But let's quickly go because we only have 10 minutes. Dolby is not a technology company. And that's maybe strange for you to hear, but if you're looking at how we started developing Dolby Vision and also Dolby Atmos, we started by talking to everybody in the industry on a creative level. So after the digitalization from celluloid, we just asked cinema filmmakers, sound engineers, image people, what has been changing since we moved from celluloid. And we heard we are missing color, we are missing a wider spectrum of color, we are missing contrast, we are not able to project black, and therefore the scenes, the darker scenes are less visible, or you don't see all the objects, all kinds of things like that. And that's what was our starting point. So if you look, for instance, at Dolby Atmos, we are trying to have a balance, an équilibre between the sound as we hear it as humans outside. I always have this comparison with outside because it is easy to explain. You may be talking to someone, you hear a car behind passing by, you hear other people, the wind, the ocean here, and you still hear everything and you're still able to concentrate on the dialogue because that's how your brain works. It filters and it always balances all the sounds that you hear. That's also what we want to do in rooms like this. You want to balance the sound and you want to make sure that it comes from the direction where the object on the screen is coming from. So it doesn't make sense to have sound just from the back end of the screen where there's a car passing behind the characters on the screen. It's really unnatural if you don't hear the wind circling around you as you would do outside. If you're watching a scene and someone is standing in the middle on the beach and you hear the wind and the waves. So that's what we're trying to create, a realistic sound bed, a realistic image, because we know that our brain subconsciously always tells us if something is off. It tells us this is not right. This is not what we are used to here. There's a difference and they're trying to adjust. And if you're doing that subconsciously, you're not in the story. You are not immersed in the film and it distracts you and you may not necessarily know exactly what's going on, but you are not appreciative of what's happening there. And the same goes with image. So for this is very technical, but the main highlight is that we found out what is the range of the nits or food Lambert. So we project up to 108 nits, which is the brightest possible screen. And it allows us as human beings to be perceiving everything as we are in day-to-day life. So we can see bright sunlight, but we can also see objects in a darker scene with moonlight, or even when there's no moon at all and it's just the stars. So everything is really dimmed, and still in those nits up to 10,000 nits, you can see what we as humans can see on the screen. And that is very important for us. So yes, it's a technological solution, but we started from a creative question. How can we improve the quality of the image and the sound, and how can we make it more lifelike? And that is one of the reasons why we are preferred by most studios, most film directors, most creatives in the industry. And we have, and I will show that later on, a huge amount of films being released in our format every single year. And here you have a few quotes so that you don't only believe what I'm saying, but it's also backed up by a few directors. And they really ravish about how our technology helps them to tell the story and actually bringing it to life. Because this is just flat. There's nothing there. You need to bring it to life so that the story translates. And even if you're in row 26, you are still feeling the emotion coming from the screen, and it just fills your brain and your heart. Another quote from Jean Levy, here in my head, but I think also in heart. Oops. And this enabled us to have all the top films that are released. So the top 50 of last year, we all had them in Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos. And it's just, of course, not only Hollywood. We work closely with Pathé Films. We work closely with Canal Plus as well to make sure that, especially here in France, where a strong local film market is, we are present as well. And it resulted in a few very impressive numbers, I would say, up to almost 5,000 films being released in Dolby Atmos. And we're pushing towards 1,000 films in Dolby Vision and Atmos. And we started in 2015. So that's, I think, a very good one. And we, even though, of course, we are an American company, we really believe in local titles. So that's why we have more than 400 titles in local versions from Japanese, Chinese, Korean, French, German, Arabic films, Bollywood films. Everywhere where we have a presence as Dolby, and that's pretty much everywhere, we try to have as much content in the local language as well. And then, of course, we are in a business where we all sometimes are struggling since the pandemic. We're still trying to get the audiences back. I think 2026 is going to be a really great year. If you have been to CinemaCon, I think you would agree with us that the energy is back, the positivity is back. The slate up to 28 looks really, really impressive. And it's not just blockbusters. There's a lot of horror, there's music, there's comedy, there's animation, film for families. For the first time in years, I'm also confident that we have films for everyone. And the cinema goer is everyone. It's everyone from 4 to 84. And we need content for all of them. And we can then provide the exhibitor with a higher box office, with more attendance. We have very high repeat visits to the screens that we've opened. We actually have the highest box office percentages as well if you're looking at the performance of each screen. And we are helping again to enhance this experience and making it really come to life so that when you go home, you think there's no other way that I should have watched that film than on the big screen. Because my mother already said in 75, if there is no difference between what you watch at home and what you can see in my cinema, why would people bother to come out of their seat and why would they pay? And exactly also with premium and with innovation, why would they pay a little bit more? And I think Dolby justifies that reason because the experience is completely different than what they are normally experiencing in a cinema. And they are appreciating the film more, and therefore they will come back more. We are absolutely convinced of that. And that's it. Love movies more in Dolby. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Youry. No, this one. Oh. This one will be for Jeffrey, because our next guest is Jeffrey from Ice Theaters. Ice Theaters sounds not French, but actually it's French. But you're about to talk innovation with Samsung. So thank you for being with us this morning. And just one question, Youry. You said you were born for James Bond. Did you enjoy the movie?
Yes, I did, but I was like 6.
Okay. Jeffrey.
Good morning, everybody. And thank you again to Dolby for hosting this morning's conference, and thank you for being here. Like Laurent said, my name is Jeffrey Guevara. I'm an international business developer for Ice Theaters, French company. I'm Californian, so I feel very comfortable presenting this morning. Now, Ice Theaters, it came from the idea of exhibitors in France to develop a technology that could be something that would be flexible and adaptable to different formats of our auditoriums in terms of dimensions and specific needs. We are a special PLF, we'll call it a premium special format, that we rely on 4 different pillars. First of all, it's going to be a very unique side panels that are placed in the room, which are synchronized with the main image. I'll show a little bit of that after. Then we have Dolby Atmos in the room. That is the best in terms of sound quality. Then we also try to propose the best in terms of comfort, is in reclining seating or spacious seats. And then 4K projection laser, or as we've recently built in France, a Samsung Onyx LED screen in a cinema. So for this project, we're talking about Cinema Mega Rex in Haguenau, which is around 30 kilometers from Strasbourg in the northern part of France, close to the German border. Here we've installed a 12 by 80 meter Samsung Onyx screen, which has a beautiful contrast and quality of colors, in collaboration as well with ADDE, who helped us with the installation and provided as well the dark side speakers in the room. This was a phenomenal project, which we are very proud of, because it was the first in France and in the world to integrate both technologies. And this was actually born from the director of the cinema trying to propose the best in terms of innovation for this auditorium, and also the most immersive experience from his point of view. So the collaboration in the main LED screen with our side panels, as you can see, makes this room a full 360 experience as well, thanks to the Dolby Atmos in the room. Here you have a different view of the auditorium, the perspective from the screen. And this is where we can actually appreciate the Ice Theaters technology, which are our immersive panels, which are adaptable based on the dimensions of the auditorium. In this specific one, we're talking about 134 seats. So really talking about that premium experience in terms of the dimension of the room and per ratio of the seats. And on each side of this auditorium, we have around 8 panels. And these 8 panels, they vary. They're around 1.5 meters in terms of width, and then the height can depend on based on the size of the heights of the room. And then as well, we complete this with 20 dynamic lightings that are similar to those that we can find in concert venues, which highlight and move around the room. So during a full screening, for example, something recently came out like Michael, it really makes this auditorium a real event place to go experience something of that high quality. And many of our studios are already on board. So last year we delivered close to 50 major films released on Ice Theaters format, also known as Immersa in the American territory. And like we said, we have a post-production team that receives these films around 3 weeks before their release, and they work it in France and a post-production studio where we create the effects for the side panels. The response is that today we have all major studios on board with this technology. We're fastly growing. We installed our first ICE theaters in Germany last December, and we're about to complete our fourth one. And we're also highly awaiting a big opening in LA this summer. This catalog has started in 2018, and we're about to add in total 300 films to our catalog. So the response has been really positive in terms of innovation and differentiation. Our technology, talking about those side panels, they're 100% of the time activated. So as soon as somebody enters the auditorium, through the trailers and through the whole premium film, we have those effects happening on the sides, which makes a 95% satisfaction rate for people who are looking for the major releases, such as Dune, Top Gun, and Avatar. So this room, in terms of its premium quality and immersive experience, tends to have an 80% higher occupancy rate than our standard rooms, and also justifies a 70% increase on average ticket price. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't hesitate if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for a clicker. And now, in theaters, you need innovation. You need also content. So the next speaker will be Agathe. Welcome, Agathe. This innovation, CineOD, but Agathe is about to tell you about it, is both for public, for theaters, and for right holders. I know we are a market, so I think it's important for everyone. So, Agathe.
Thank you, Laurent, and thank you, Dolby, for hosting this event today. My name is Agathe. I work with Cinegroup, who partnered with the market to create Cinemas Club. So this is the first year of Cinemas Club. We're excited to see where that goes next. And today I'm going to talk to you about CineOD. CineOD is a new platform for on-demand screenings for spectators to create their own screenings in their local cinemas. It was created by Cinegroup in very close partnership with Gather. Gather is an American tech company who are the inventors of theatrical on-demand, and who, with Cinegroup, have adapted their technology to this specific use case. I'm going to go through the slides and explain to you a little bit how CineOD works. But first, why CineOD? CineOD comes from something that we're all aware of, the fact that in theaters there are a couple empty seats, the fact that there are catalogs sitting around with the distributors that aren't being used to their full potential, and the fact that audiences are more and more used to having so much choice, and being able to create their own screenings would help that choice. So with that in mind, we thought of CineOD. A little bit more about the catalog. What we noticed as well when we were thinking of CineOD and how it could, help this need, is that in a lot of industries and a lot of different platforms, catalog is what is used the most, is what we see on Netflix and on all, and even in music, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other examples. What is works the most is catalog. And in cinemas, that's not the case yet, even though we notice as well that whenever there's an event, whenever catalog films are put forward, that does work in cinemas. So we wanted to fluidify that observation. And so I can explain to you how it works a little bit now. CineOD, the idea is, in a couple sentences, that a spectator will go on the platform, they'll pick a day, a time, they'll pick a film from a catalog of film that is proposed. Today, we're in the pilot phase in France, and we have about 100 films with our partnership for launch with Gaumont. and so these are films from the 30s, but also from a couple years ago. So there's a little bit for everybody. A spectator then chooses, as I was saying, a theater, a day, a time, and a film, and will create a screening project. Then they'll share that screening project around them with their friends, their family, the group WhatsApp, and once that screening reaches a minimum threshold that's been fixed in advance by theaters and that are always parameterable for each theater. They can pick their own threshold depending on the time of day, depending on the day of the week. So once that screening reaches the threshold, the screening can exist. We validate, obviously, with the theater owners that it can really exist, that it's still okay for them to have the screening, and then the screening exists as a regular screening. So as you can see here, this is what CineOD looks like today. We're in currently the pilot phase. We're ending the pilot phase in France. We had our big launch a couple weeks ago at the Grand Rex. And this is what the platform looks like. In a couple steps, the spectators can create their own screening, reserve their seats, and then they create their screening project, which is then shared to their friends and family, and then can become a real screening. A quick note on their reservation. So this is by a pre-authorization, so it's not just a vote, but it's not a debit or a credit either. And what happens is that we pre-authorize all the spectators that would like to have the screening exist, and once that threshold is reached, everyone is debited, and the screening can exist. While we were thinking of CineOD and how to create it, we really had in mind theater owners, especially the fact that they have to be the ultimate deciders in any case. We're gonna open CineOD to all theaters very soon in France. But the idea is that any theater can parameter date, time, threshold, and especially timing. Also, we know that for different cinemas, programming can be a couple days in advance or a couple weeks in advance. The idea is that all of that is parameterable by cinema. And other reflections as we're launching is the fact that CineOD isn't just for diehard fans. It's not just for if you want to organize a team building. It's for we've identified these 6 different types of profiles, and we're currently working on getting the data behind and seeing exactly for who CineOD is. But what we know is that it can be for the ones who haven't seen a movie and really want to see it on the big screen. It can be for organizing events. We know that we've had some influencers also who have shown interest to organize their own events around CineOD. There we go. That was it. And so don't hesitate to send me a message or come see me after at the Cinemas Club if you want to talk more about it.
Thank you, Agathe. It's to you. And then, so next, just if you have any question, please do not hesitate. And just let you to know that after all the presentation, we will give a cocktail on the Cinemas Club 10 meters from there. You're more than welcome to be part of it and to chat with the speakers and to have a drink with us. So, we know it's important, so please join us over there. There's something strange. We didn't mention AI since the beginning of this presentation. So now we'll speak about AI and AI in terms of production, because AI will change life of many jobs, many businesses, including theater businesses, obviously, but also the life of movies and the impact on the programming. So Sébastien is here, and I think Sébastien is here now, and now it's yours.
Thank you, Laurent. So I'm a film producer. My company is based in Cannes. It's called Adastra Films. Lately, we've done 2 movies. Laroy, who won Deauville Grand Prix a couple of years ago, and lately, even more lately, a movie called Brûle le sang, who was released last year. And I've been always very interested by seeing the evolution of AI since 2021. So I will briefly tell you how I started using AI in my movies and how in the future it can really change the way we producers make movies. And you have to expect to have indie producers like me making movies that look more and more like with big shows, like more closer to Hollywood as we advance. Alors, a basic example, the first time I use AI is there is a pimp in my movie, this is the character, and she has to go through a book of prostitutes. Before AI, I had to organize a casting to bring 100 women to pass casting in underwear. So it's not something you want to go through. It will take time, energy, money. With AI, we managed to make a catalog within a couple of hours for free. So this is what we use in this movie. I don't think the movie is launching. It is. I am in the. Okay, well, I will do without the movie. So she's basically turning the page, and we see some women that we created from nothing, and we don't have a close-up on it, so we cannot see that it's imperfect. We cannot see that it's AI being done, even if it's back to 2023. The other example we had is sometimes in a movie you have like as a background a TV running, just with a stripping show, cooking show, or just a documentary. And this, before AI, we had to clear rights. And for just 2 seconds on the screen, sometimes 3 seconds on the screen, you have to pay 400 euros of clearance there, 300 euros of clearance there. And it's at the end of the day, this is a budget for production. Now, with the new tools of AI generating videos, we can make it for in a couple of hours. So that was the beginning of AI for us back to 2023. Now, the new big revolution is VFX. So what you see there, this is a short film that I just produced. In the beginning, for me, AI video was not to the point yet to take the risk, because all the movie, it's a horror movie with the monkey in a cage, getting Reese out of the cage and killing everyone. So it's a strong horror movie. So if the monkey is not well done, my movie is basically, it doesn't work. So I was a bit too skeptical to use AI now, back to end of last year, to take the risk. But what happened is that I had my makeup FX artist who had broke down a couple of days before delivering the makeup mask of the monkey. So we were shooting a couple of days after, and we had no mask of the monkey. So basically the movie won't be able to happen. So we had no other choice than using a last-minute tool, and this is how come AI. So what you see, this is the first test, and it's very, very promising. So we had like an actor playing the monkey, and our AI artist managed to keep the actor inside his environment without changing it, and to add the monkey inside, which looks extremely realistic. And most importantly, it keeps what we wanted to describe through the eyes, the emotions of the human actors. We can see it in the emotions of the monkey. So you can see it with the end, and you can see then he will start screaming. So we are still working on it. It's not perfect yet, but you know, AI moves so fast for us producers that every 2 months we understand that we're already in advance on the agenda. So yeah, this was my little testimony, just to tell you that be ready as exhibitors to see more and more movies with lots of shows, grand spectacle, as we say, more action movies, more explosions. We now feel as indie producers with budgets between 3 to 5 million. This is usually what I'm doing. I can feel now when I receive a script, now I have an action spy movie in the north. I know with AI, I will be able to do something that I won't have enough means to do some years back. So now, in a way, we producers, when we receive scripts, we don't limit ourselves anymore, because we know AI will open many doors for us. So Dolby will have lots of work with all the big movies that we're gonna make in the next years. Thank you for listening, and I don't know. Let's have a nice lunch after.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'll get the clicker. I'm sorry for videos. So next for us is someone who is very well known in France for in exhibition. She's the creator of Futura Cinema, and she's Anne Pouliquen. Thank you, Anne. You're not here to talk to us about Futura Cinema, but about a new project, Traverse. So the microphone is yours.
Hello. Thank you for invitation and for let us talking about this project. I was very short notice this morning to do this presentation in English, so the slides are in French. Hope it's okay for everybody. But I will translate them anyway. So I'm not exactly the co-founder of Traverse. So the founder of Traverse is a company that is called Diversion Cinema. You may know them as one of the main distributors for immersive content. Unfortunately, they're coming tonight in Cannes, so they wasn't able to be here this morning. But we are working closely with them. Before that, I will just explain you the next slide so you can understand what I'm doing here. Diversion is the founder of this project, and they are responsible for this project on technology and curation and content and coordination. But they decided to launch this project with 3 partners. And so Art Explorer, you may know them, it's a foundation dedicated to culture. There's Actum, that is a network of digital culture venues. And we are here, Futura Cinema. So Futura Cinema, just a few words about it before starting explaining Traverse. Futura Cinema has been launched 5 or 6 years ago. And we are traveling incubator. It means that we select some innovative projects dedicated to innovation in movie theaters and also in cultural venues. This is not content, but tools and solution for public audience development or for innovation and B2B tools for cinemas. We are traveling because we are European and we bring all our project leaders in Europe in different festivals during the year, and so we are trying to build like a big network dedicated also to experimentation in real condition in venues. So that was a little word about what we do, so you can understand why we are working on this project. So, Traverse formerly was called Territoire Immersif. Is a project that wants to support cinemas and cultural venues to build VR works. I mean, to show VR works in the venues. So we have this grant from France 2030, you may know also, and so we have this grant so we can launch this project this year, next September. And we are building a network of cultural and cinema venues so they can experiment VR in traditional venues. What are our objectives is that to make VR works available and accessible to a lot of, a bigger audience and all territories. You know that VR is often available at home if you have the headsets, but in museums, festivals, but they don't have ready venues dedicated to these works. And we believe that cinemas can really be potential venues for these contents. So the objectives is so to create like a network of venues for VR content, but also to raise revenue from it. So we'll see this, and also to give a space to creation to be showed. For when you're a cinema, you benefit. So I will detail it after that, but you will benefit from two two kind of screenings. So you can have some collective screenings. So we want to keep the standards of the cinema theaters. We don't want to transform cinema theaters in immersive venues, but we want immersive venue to get into the cinema and to adapt to the cinema. And so the idea is that all the cinemas, they will have 30 headsets, and you have screenings, and you have to respect the time, and the screening starts at the same time for everybody. And you have the sound, thanks to Dolby. You have the sound for everybody. So you share an experience, a collective experience, like in cinemas, but you can discover new works in the headsets. We also equip cinemas with interactive stations, so for different contents. Then with the cinema, we help cinemas to curate the programs. They have a 6-month programmation a year, and the program, it's like about 30-40 minutes for each program, but I will explain this after. We also offer training for cinemas and all their teams for the technical matters, and also for mediation and a relationship with audiences. And I will talk about also the business model, but the idea is to keep the standards of the cinema theaters, as I told. So we share the ticket, like for a film, exactly like the film. And so we also work on the marketing, and so the cinemas benefit from like a communication kits and a national campaign for the movies. So I just explained this, but this is the difference between the screenings into the screening room and the interactive stations. Regarding the programmation and the editorial part, we will have this programmation every during 6 months. During 6 months, you have 3 programs of 3 films. Every 2 months, you have new films, and we decide with the cinemas about a theme, a main theme, and then we decline this theme in the screenings, and the interactive stations. Don't know if it's clear. It is. But I think I've already said almost everything in the previous slides. Just a few words about the business model. So, because it costs money to equip cinema theaters with 30 headsets, and so we have this support from France 2030, and the cinemas have a part to finance themselves, and so we are here also to help them to finance this part, and so they pay per year a certain amount, and so they can have access to training, to the material, to the films, and to a lot of mediation tools and pedagogical tools also for audience development. And then we have, we discuss with them. Some of them are ready to have like 6 screenings a week. Some of them is like 2 days a month. So it depends on cinemas, and we want to experiment different formats. And then we share, as I said, we share the revenue, the tickets, 50-50 at the end. About the schedule, we are finalizing the first venues working with the project. For the moment, we have 4 cinemas that we know they will start with us, and we have also 3 venues dedicated to digital culture or museums also. And so the idea is to launch the first season at the end of September this year. And we are supposed to have 17 venues in 2028. And I think that's all. But you can ask questions after that, and my colleague Aurélien that is here is also talking about the project this afternoon at the CST. So if you want to know more, you can also join us over there or write to us. And I hope everything was clear. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, and thank you for microphone. And now we'll stay in France with Quentin, and Quentin is about to talk about an innovation that will interest also right holders, but also theaters in terms of educational purposes, for example, and users. So Quentin, the dance floor is yours, as well as the clicker.
Hi everyone, and thank you for the invitation.
The big button.
Yes. I'm really happy to be here to present you Réfractio. It's a search engine for the moving image, but before explaining to you what Réfractio is about, I wanted to start with actually where the idea started. And so this is a picture of on the set of Deepflix, a short movie that I self-produced. And while we were actually in the process of making the movie, you have this moment where you're actually gathering a lot of images, videos as inspiration. You're doing mood boards. I mean, you need to create the universe of your own movie. And actually, we were looking for that kind of image of people looking at the screen during the night. And I mean, this process, I mean, is about, you know, going on the internet and digging on different website, library, archive. And what I realized at this moment is like, actually, this is a process that is faced by all the creative industries in general, not only in the film industry, but if you're a designer working on a new project, you have to do what is called iconographic research. So then there is also the problem of accessing those images, where they are actually stored or where you can view those images. And if we are talking about cinema, I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of films that are neither accessible nor catalogued. I mean, this is some statistics about, I mean, there are more and more films that are actually released in theaters and also available on streaming service platforms. But if we are comparing that to the total numbers of films that were made since the beginning of cinema, we are only seeing just the tip of the iceberg. And actually, there's those problematics in terms of on the side of catalogs, so there are limited visibility on their images and movies. And for image professionals, the process of searching and also actually clearing the rights on one image or one shot is really time consuming. And there are today is like no simple legal tool to watch just a shot without actually subscribing to every streaming service available on the market. So that's why we created Réfractio. It's actually to help create that bridge between right holders and the people that are looking for those images. So we developed a technology that is able to index a movie shot by shot, so you are able to search in natural language in it. So here is an example of just highs, type in the search bar. It's a semantic search engine. So then you have the results of all the shots in our catalogs. And we developed something that is actually going in the grammar of cinema, so you can combine filters that it could be colors, it could be a dialogues, a location, type of shots. The idea is to combine those to actually find the shots that you are looking for depends on your use case, but you get the time code. And that's the idea. We can transform actually a library of movie into a searchable library of shots. In terms of technology,
we are actually really insisting on the ethical use of our model. There's no AI model training. We are not training generative AI with our platform and our technology. There are secure data authentications, and we are not sending the images of the right holders into any external API. This is some of the use case we have been actually addressing with our technology. That could be clip search, building fast channels, audiovisual content creation, mood board, as I was talking previously on the case with the short movie, or internal documentation. And to give you a bit more information on how it works, we got two business model. One is Réfractio Studio, which is actually, if you are a movie archive, you have your own library, you want to create a dedicated environment with your own user and with your own images. And we actually did a first project with an education image platform in the south of France. It's called Comet. And they were actually able to use to create image education programs with the technology. In terms of business model, it's based on the number of users, the number of hours that you want to index. And I mean, I will be happy to tell you more about this if you are interested in this version. And we also recently launched what is now in beta, but the platform Réfractio, which is actually gathering different right holders and also different professionals to actually search and find the right shot in our catalogs. So that could be, as I was saying, film producers, advertising agency, art directions teams, film school, individual professionals that have the needs of searching and also buying a certain type of shots for a specific project. And what we are actually doing in this beta version is actually simplifying all the process of clearing the rights on the shot. There's no exclusivity. All the right holders, they keep all the distribution channels of their movies, and we are actually generating new revenue stream with no upfront investment for them. So this is the team. We're interdisciplinary team with different backgrounds in design, technology, computing science, and also we have an advisory board which is working at the intersection of cinema, technology, culture in general. And to give you a bit of context, so the project started as a design diploma at NC Les Ateliers in Paris. Then we have been backed by CNC. We are also proud alumni of the program Futura Cinema that Anne was talking about. And we are really proud to have launched this beta version with actually first catalog partners that are MK2, Argos Film, Cité Film, and also Gaumont. And I'm happy to tell you more about this program, and if you are also interested to join as a beta tester. And just like a few words to finish with, this is a quote from Emmanuelle J. She's an editor, and she wrote that like equation, cinema is speech plus slide plus atmosphere. I mean, everyone has his own equation of cinema, and that's interesting because in this era of generative AI, we strongly believe with Réfractio that the challenge is not only to create new image, but it's also rediscovering the ones that already exist, because cinema is memory, and the idea with Réfractio is to access it. So thank you. I'm Quentin Bitran, the founder of Réfractio and filmmaker, and you can actually access our website if you are interested to test our technology as a beta tester. We will be happy to actually open your access, and feel free to reach out and discuss after this talk at the venue and the cocktail. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Quentin. Thank you very much. Sébastien is already checking the QR code. So, yeah, our next speaker is Leslie Vuchot. You may know her very well because she hunted all the festivals for years, but she's now there to speak about timeless cinema.
Thank you.
Welcome, and le speaker.
Merci beaucoup. Hello, everyone. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm going to introduce a new project. And just to introduce myself, my background is from sales companies. I started the festival agency, which is a company I founded in 2009, which is still running. And that is basically handling catalogs and placing films into festivals on behalf of sales agents or producers. And this company and this project has led us to aim always to facilitate the access to films for festivals, but also for cinemas. So Timeless Cinema is, I would say, an extension of this business. We're a B2B platform between cinemas around the world. We don't want to limit ourselves to a certain type of territories or markets. And rights holders of films that are generally, I would say, more than 10 years old. We're starting with catalog titles and heritage cinema and classic films. There's a lot of slides, and I translated them to French last night, so I'm really annoyed, but it's okay. I'll go very, very quick. It's this way or this way? Yeah. Faciliter la distribution. Well, it's to make bookings easier. I love this shot, because it's one of my favorite festivals in the world. It's in Bologna. It's called Il Cinema Ritrovato, which means like the rediscovered cinema. It's organized by the Cinematheque of Bologna, which is restoring, preserving a lot of films. And it's, if you've never been, please go once in your life. It is a unique experience. And this was one of the films we work on, which is a Bertolucci film, The Dreamers. And it's quite an experience, a bit like in Locarno as well. You have like probably like 1,500 people watching the same film open air. It's wonderful. What I say here is basically that even though the cinema audience has been decreasing a bit, we've seen, I think I have numbers over there. I'll just do this. We've seen the audience, the numbers for the audience for classic films raised since COVID with more than 10%. And this is European numbers. We don't have the American figures. I do lack of data for Asia as well. But this is really a phenomenon. It's not something that we're inventing. I would say I'll just go back to here. There's a few general reasons for that. There were less films being produced from America, from the US during COVID, then the strike. And there's been a constant level of a need of a counter-programming for cinemas to attract people. Another phenomenon, really not inventing anything, just gathering what cinemas tell me. Generation letterboxed. We've seen cinemas, for example, in the UK, having like full screenings for not an obscure Japanese movie, but really not a well-known Japanese movie, because it was really highly rated on Letterboxd. And this is like a new way for young generation to know about the films and to get like a curated and to be curious about films and to discover them on the big screen. What I meant to say, French, sorry, there's so much there. There's a lot of success in anniversary screenings, and I'll just mention, like in a few slides, like I don't know if you've seen, like it was the 50th anniversary of Jaws Universal re-release last year. We've managed a re-release of a Brazilian film like The City of God, Fernando Meirelles, and we were able to re-release it in 15 territories. It's really, there's an appetite, and we're not inventing it. It's the audience that is apparently happy to have these films. But there are a few problems. The problems are that these were exactly. Amélie, I don't know if you've seen it in a lot of territories. There's been a lot of re-releases for I think the 25th anniversary. And this is a beautiful poster that Curzon did for the UK, and I thought it was super cool to add it here. So the difficulties is that the rights are really spread in different types of database. We're very, very lucky in France. We have a lot of resources, and we basically can find where a film has been, or if it's not owned anymore, we know how to track because we have the Sensei, we have the RCA, which is called like the register of all the contracts in a way that is public and accessible and free. But it's true that if you step outside of France, there's really a lack of common resources. So then the screening materials also is a bit difficult because the data is really scattered. Then when a cinema is able to find the right owner, it's true that it can be very lengthy negotiation because it can, we as exhibitor, I'm an exhibitor now, Lucernaire in Paris, really lovely art house cinema. If you're lucky enough to find the right person, for example, abroad, that have the rights, they're not really used to deal with a cinema that is not in their country. So very often it will be like, okay, I can do a deal, but let's say it's 1,000 euros. And then you're like, well, we're a cinema. It's not like a festival. It's not like a sponsored event. It's a cine club. And we need to have access. We'd love to have access to this film. So these are the problems. And then also how to find the films, obviously. And this is where we're coming, hopefully. The aim, this looks really big. It's the first time I look at it. I just wanted to do a very quick event. I didn't do a video because I didn't know how it would play, but it is built and it works. For example, Almodovar has a film in competition. Cinemas might find it cool to do not a whole retrospective maybe, but to have like a film to support the new release. And that works actually really well. So on our catalog here, we do represent, and there's another one in the back, which is one of my favorite movie, All About My Mother. And you can basically have these films available because we represent the right owners of those films. So the very cool process, very simple. Oops. We're basically asking for a number of shows, indicating a seating capacity. It's to give the idea to the right owner. And then obviously when we deliver the film, we give the KDMs to all the rooms, but it's to give an idea. The dates, what's going on? There you go. You can, I use Kino Rotterdam because I love this cinema. They're really good. And it's basically asking a request, as in putting a request to the right owner. And then this is where the request comes in. This is, when it's white, it's what the right owner sees. So the request comes in. It has like all the details. Pathé Benelux is not a right owner, it's Pathé International, but I've put there all the rights for Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg to have exactly the rights availability. And then we can see, as a right owner, all the requests, the different films, the statuses, and basically where we need to act as a right owner or as an admin of Timeless, and it's basically a dashboard. Sorry. So really the objectives of the platform is to democratize the access to film. Hopefully by making more volume of bookings, we can probably get those prices down for cinemas. It's decentralized. It's been a bit of a Tetris. I don't know if you've played the game. I was completely obsessed by the game when I was 10 years old. But it's really trying to ease the process and centralize the information. All these catalogs and AI is helping us to do this. We don't need to actually build the API with all the different right owners, but we've built a very simple connector where the databases, because I don't know if some of you are right owners in the room, or more exhibitors. You are. When you own several films, there's obviously right management system. The very big problem is that there's like probably 150 different systems doing this. Some people have built their own. Some of them are used by a few companies, but there's a lot of different systems. What AI has made easier in the last month is to help us structure the data. Even if we do have more than 50 type of exports with, so I didn't show it here, but we have about 1,000 films, and it makes about 22,000 rights, like available per territory. It's a lot of rights to handle, but AI has made it easier, I have to say, and obviously to simplify the licensing. This is a lot. I'm not going to go, but basically we're centralizing. We're hoping to help the programmers from the cinemas and the right owners, because it's a lot of small requests. It's a volume they don't really want to deal with. So I hope that it will be useful for them. This is just a fun illustration of, I think, a lot of films that are celebrating their anniversaries this year. I did want to include La La Land, and there's another one that is celebrating its 10th anniversary, Intouchable. Just because these are already classic films. They're 10 years old, so I thought it was interesting to put like Napoleon there, and Buster Keaton film, and also new classics. I think we're not going to go in all the details because it's going to be too long. Am I good in timing? Yeah? Okay. Extra values. We've tested our first platform. We've launched we've pitched the project in Lyon, Lumière, which is a classic film festival organized as well by Thierry Frémaux. And there's a market where I was with Quentin and Anne. I think, Anne, no, not this year. You were, but I was with you at the Innovation Corner. And we've tested with a lot of cinemas what could be really useful for them. What is useful for cinemas as well is, okay, I'm looking for this film. You may not have it, but can you give me a lead? And it's been cool because I think because we're gathering a lot of data, even if they're not partners yet, we reach out to people and we try to give an answer. So what the promise of the platform is, we're going to see cinemas log in and they see what's available, what's not available in their territory. That makes their life easier already. When it's not available, we're able, very often from the sales agent, to say it's actually with cherry pickers in the Netherlands. And we can put in touch or just say it's cherry pickers. We'll just see how distributors will want to be listed or not. But we really want to push it quite far to be a full service for cinemas. If they look for completely unfoundable cinema. It's really, I mean, this is probably like a bit too developed, but it's really something that I'm giving as a tip for all programmers. It's like, send us your ideas. It actually makes us connect with right owners we had never met. And we gather the information, and it's quite a virtuous cycle. Merci. And merci, CNC. I'm just saying because it is the first time in 20 years that I've applied for public funding. And there's a service within the CNC which is helping technique industries, I don't know how to say, or innovation. And we obtained the first grant last year and the second grant this year. And so I really want to thank them because this is how we could build this first platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leslie.
Merci. Merci.
Thank you. And now back to AI, and the point is, how can the knowledge of audience can help to estimate the success of a movie? And we have a researcher, a data scientist with us to explain that to us. Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you. Thank you, Laurent. Thank you, Laurent, and thank you for Dolby for hosting this event. So I'm Anthony. I'm a data strategist at Vertigo. So for those who don't know us We are a research institute specialized in the cinema industry. Every week we are surveying thousands of people going to the cinema to check what they are going to see, in which theater they go, and we are providing data in France and in Italy for theaters, also to distributors, to agencies, media agencies, and we are surveying the audience to try to explain also how a movie can be successful with knowledge about the audience. So the slides are in French, so I'm going, of course, to translate them. This talk will be in two parts. So first, we are going to see the indicators that help us to explain a success of the movie. We are going to see this with the example of Michael. And in the second part, we will see how we are going to base we are going to use the indicators as basis to try to estimate future movies and how to shape different cinema markets. So first, how to explain the success of a movie? Of course, first with the movie itself. So we are going to use the cast, the producers, the directors, the synopsis, the kind of a movie. We use an intern kind that we name typology here, and all of this we know that it's going to influence about the success, but it's not enough. We need to know more about different topics, like first the marketing campaign that is done before the release. And especially we want to know how the audience knows about future movies. And one of the questions we are going to ask them, say, do you know the movie to be released? One key point, it's, do you know the movie that are going to be released next week? That's the awareness, sorry, I'm going back here. That's the awareness the last week before the release. And you have here some results for Michael. So each point is one target, women, male. Here you have ages category. And the orange area here is the threshold for the first and the second half. So if you are in the orange area, you are in the second half of all the movie results. But if you are outside the orange area, you are in the first half. What we can see here is that the results are very, very good for all generation, especially the 50-59 years old, but also the 35-49, and also the 15-24. So everybody knows about the movie, which is quite good for the movie. Also, one key target is here the casual. Those are people who are going less than once a month. And a lot of them knows about the movie. That's very, very good. That's a very good sign. Knowing about the movie is good, but are the people willing to go to theater to see the movie? And that's a question we are asking, and you have the result here. What we want to know is, we're interested in the people that say, yes, very much. I want to see the movie in the theater. So here you have the same type of chart, and you can see that all targets are above the threshold. So all of them are very much willing to go to a theater to see the movie, especially the casual. So from a marketing point of view, everything is green lighted. Now the movie is released, and we want to see what is the audience. So here you have the share of all the target by age here, and the casual here. As we saw a bit earlier, that all the targets that we mentioned are the three main age that are going to see Michael. So Michael has a broad audience, and that make a lot of people that are going to see the film in the theaters. And also the casual. Here it's almost 46%. That's 3 times more. That's what we see for the kind of film like Michael. So people have come to see this event movie. And so that's very good for it, and it explains why 3 weeks after its release, already 3.5 million people have seen Michael in theaters. Also, what makes a success of a movie is the word of mouth. If you have a good movie, if you have a movie that is released but it's not very good, it won't last a lot. So the word of mouth, we measure it by asking people to grade the movie between 1 and 10. And we measure the share of people that grade it at least 8 over 10. For Michael, it's 78%. That's very good. It allows Michael to get the popcorn of Vertigo. Usually, it's the top 10% of movies that get the popcorn. So Michael had a very good campaign, has a broad audience, and has a very good word of mouth. That's a very good recipe to have a successful movie. So that's for the movie, but you have also some exogenous factors that are going to favorize, to make scenarios more favorable for movies, like the competition. For Michael, the competition is quite good because the big movies like Mario, the drama, Just an Illusion, have very targeted audience. So Michael has the place to gather all of the generation as we saw earlier. And of course, like a random factor is the weather. If the weather is very good, people are usually going to go outside. If it's rainy, usually they are more keen to go to the theater. So we have seen a lot of parameters, of indicators that can explain the success of a movie, and we are going to base all the next work on that to try to estimate what would be the tickets sold by movies in the future. That's the second part of this talk, and this is a project called CineForecast, which got some funding from the CNC, so we thank them for that. And CineForecast is part of a bigger project called EMA, which is a European project. So if you are interested in this, feel free to ask a question in the cocktail after that. So how we're going to estimate the tickets sold by the movie in the future? We will use the strengths of both human and AI. As human is adaptable, is capable of fetching some data outside of just in the world, and AI is able to manage a lot of information. So what we need is a lot of data, a lot of very good data, and a very good model of AI. It's only when you have both that you can have reliable results at the end. So data, it's our job. So we trust that our data are reliable. So we are going to use them. And for the model, we have started a collaboration with the University Paris Panthéon, La Sorbonne. So we have a PhD student who is working on that and who is creating a dedicated AI model. So why creating one model? Why not using ChatGPT? It's because ChatGPT has been designed to discuss with us. So if we ask a question, yes, ChatGPT will answer. But on one grounds, it is going to say, yes, this movie will make 1 million, 2 million, I don't know. And that's a problem for us. So we decided to create a dedicated model which is going to be trained on the data and who is going to try to justify why it chose those values. So the project is based on two steps. First, we are estimating the film alone in a tool called Movie Forecast, and then the results are injected into a second tool called CineForecast, who is trying to shape weekly markets and adjust the first estimation by movie forecast, depending on all the data that we saw before. So this is very theoretical, so we will see just a very short use case. So here we chose a movie that is going to be released in the second semester of 2026, and we give the data of the movie, of all the indicators we saw at the beginning of this talk, and movie forecast give us an estimation at the end of the first week of 250,000, and an estimation at the end of the life of 650,000. So this may raise a lot of questions, so feel free to come discuss with us at the cocktail to talk more about this. So we have our estimation. We put this in Cine Forecast, and we will see how it will create a market in the future. So we are going to look at the market of the week 51, which is the week of the release of Avengers in June. So here the chart, each point is a movie. Its size, it's the number of tickets the movies we are estimating the movie is going to sell. And the position is an indication of the audience. The more the point is to the right, the older the audience will be. The more the point is upward, the more it will be, the audience will be masculine. So here two things. First, so Avengers in June are the biggest movie in this week, and they are very close position. So the question is, are those movies going to compete against each other, or are they going to make the market very, very good? Are they going to coexist? That's the question. And the second point is, as you can see here, for the older audience, there are no strong movie that is here. So maybe there is room for another strong proposition. And this can be resumed in this table. So you each blue and each white line are the tickets sold for movies. The gray line here is the total, and this line here is the pressure, the global pressure, or the pressure by target. If you have 100 of pressure, it means that it's the maximum of tickets that has been sold on week 51 in the past, the post-COVID past. So for week 51 at the global, it's 77. So it's quite good. There is a bit more room, but not that much. And what we can see here is for those two targets, 50 and 24, and 25-34, the pressure is above 100. It means that for those targets, week 51 will be a record week. So we all know that records are meant to be broken, but records are not broken every day. So maybe here there will be a bit of competition with those two movies. We will see. That's an indication of what could happen. And also, for the older audience, as you can see, the pressure is 62 for the 50-59 and 32 for the 60+. And this is a good reflect of what we said just before, that there are no strong movies for those targets. So that's it for this presentation. Many thanks for your attention, and feel free to ask a question, to discuss with us, or to send me an email if you want to more information about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Anthony, and thank you to all the speakers. Maybe you have some questions for them? No, just thirsty?
Yeah.
So if you're thirsty and have any question or a bit angry, please feel free to join the Cinemas Club just outside, and you can have a chat with us and with all the speakers and discover the venue. So thank you very much for being with us this morning, and I wish you a good market and a good festival.